You start the game as an adventurer, like as a wanderer, not necessarily as a noble prince. And as he's just starting to kind of get his bearings, he gets run into by this woman named Elika. And Elika grabs him by the hand and says, "Gotta help me, we gotta escape, there's these dudes chasing me, you know, let's go." And so suddenly he's caught up into this adventure. He doesn't even know what's going on. He just wants to get his gold and get out of there. But, you know, there's this pretty woman. She's kind of asking for his help. He doesn't know where it's going to lead. So he says, all right, you know, let me see what I can do. We have a very different world structure this time around to typical Prince of Persia, you know, the Prince of Persia games from the last generation. This time around, we wanted to have all of the benefits of a linear game in terms of making sure that the player knows where to go, they know what to do, they're not getting confused, they're not getting lost. There's lots of opportunity for character development, for story development, that sort of thing. All the strengths of a really linear game, but also have a world with player choice and player choice that has meaningful impact on the story and on the gameplay, etc. It's really done in such a way to make sure you have that critical Prince of Persia flow, that really sort of choreographed sensation of doing acrobatics through a level where you're really maintaining that excellent rhythm that is so crucial to the franchise. Obviously, with a next-gen Prince of Persia, a new adventure, a new prince, you know, one of the first things we decided to do was let's have a new combat system as well. How our combat system works is it really revolves around the idea of a duel, of a sort of one-on-one fight between two nearly evenly matched opponents. One being you, the prince, and the support character that I'm sure we're going to get to in a few minutes. And the second being your opponent, who can swing his sword every bit as well as you can, and who's every bit as cunning and every bit as intelligent about how he's going to take advantage of the environment for, you know, to strategically manipulate you into a situation where you might have your back up against the wall kind of thing. It's you and it's the support character against this one enemy, and if you're not careful, that enemy will lay you down. So our combat system is really sort of a departure from anything that we've done in previous Prince of Persias, and we think really a unique approach to how to treat fights within the action-adventure genre. So Elika is our support character. She's our Farah++, if you will. When you're doing acrobatics, collaborating with Elika will allow you to go farther, faster, higher, etc. When you're solving puzzles, Elika is going to help you with that as well. When you're exploring the world and just trying to get your bearings and figuring out, should I go north or go south, or which area should I go to next, Elika has magical abilities that'll help kind of help you find your bearings and navigate through the world. And when you're fighting in combat, Elika really is a weapon. She is a partner who cooperates with you in this very dynamic way, jumping off your back, flipping into the air, flipping off of you, really doing these kind of cool acrobatic moves to help you tag team, if you will, and defeat this enemy who, generally speaking, is faster or stronger or bigger or just generally more kind of dangerous than the prince could manage on his own. We have a very unique and a very, I think, bold artistic direction. We call it illustrative. Illustrative for us is really somewhere in between hyper-realistic, like the very, very realistic games like Assassin's Creed or like a Call of Duty that are basically trying to be almost photorealistic, and something that is very exaggerated to the point of almost being cartoony, something very cel-shaded like an Okami, etc. We consider ourselves to be really somewhere in the middle. We wanted an artistic direction that really supported the fact that we are trying to embrace in a much greater way the fantasy potential of the Prince of Persia universe, and that we feel as a result fits very nicely, dovetails very nicely with the type of game and the type of story that we're trying to create with this new Prince of Persia.